Welcome back to another Sunday walk video. Absolutely gorgeous today, like 63 degrees, sunny out, and look at the leaves all out. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this week I want to talk about Bitcoin once again, my overall thoughts about this coming week, and I don't know, a few other little stuff I'll share along the way. So Bitcoin, we had a pretty interesting last week, right? Started out not so good, and then we bottomed out, and then on Friday and Saturday we started recovering. So you could say we had a mini dip. I measured all the way from the very top to our bottom, from 73 down to our 56. It was about a 23% drop. Not too bad. And why do I say that? Well, if you look at some of the previous drops that we had in previous cycles, 25% is actually pretty normal. We've seen plenty of 20, 25, 30, 35% dips in previous cycles. And this one was probably one of our worst ones for this cycle. Again, a lot of people will look at it from the glass half empty kind of way. I look at it the glass half full kind of way, and here's why. A lot of people did sell during this mini dip. A lot of retail investors did sell because in their head they're thinking, well, you know, I've lived through this before, or maybe they didn't and this is new, it's scary. A lot of retail decided to sell, and every single dip you always see the same thing. You see a lot of retail people get scared and leave the market. But you know who didn't leave? The big boys, the whales, the institutions, the long-term holders. They didn't leave. In fact, I showed during the week, show a lot of metrics that show them actually increasing their buys. That's what the smart money does. And the dumb money, unfortunately, the retail investors, the ones with the paper hands, they fall for it every single time, and then they have to FOMO in later when things recover. So that's the unfortunate thing, right? Like for me, I said I look at things glass half full, because look at the dip we just had. Look how fast we recovered, basically. We went from 56 down up to 64 now. We're at like that even level. It's an important resistance / support level. And we climbed back up within less than a week. And also, like I said, compared to previous drops, if you go back and look at previous dips from previous cycles, we had a lot more of them, and they were a lot more volatile. So this is why I think it's a good thing, because the market is much stronger now. It's more mature, and there's a lot more big money, smart money in the space, and they're not selling, they're accumulating more. That's why I think we're in a really good spot, despite some that were panicking or panic sold or getting all scared and causing FUD. No, I'm as bullish as ever. And what I love is the fact that on Friday we had one major change, and that is what I'm looking for this week. That major change is Grayscale finally had no outflows. Or I shouldn't say had no outflows, it probably did, but the overall net flow of Grayscale was positive, meaning it actually took in money. We haven't seen that since ETS started 77 days ago, or now it's probably like 80 days. That's fantastic. We've been waiting for that turning point. A couple times during the last 2-3 months, we saw how the outflow kind of got to zero, really close, minus 20, minus 30, and then all of a sudden we got like a minus 150 day, right? I know Grayscale themselves are not to blame. I know I always refer to grayscale selling, and it's the same kind of logic. When BlackRock finally had outflow, people are like, why is BlackRock selling? It's different. These are fund issuers, fund companies, so they issue shares of that fund, and it depends on if people are buying or selling those shares, right? So they have to balance out their fund based on what people are doing. Now, with that said, yes, it's not entirely fair to just blame Grayscale, because if insiders or shareholders are selling, they have no choice but to sell their Bitcoin. But we know it's been a convoluted history so far with Grayscale, because their parent company DCG and their sister company Genesis had some major issues. So we know that they owed creditors a lot of money, billions upon billions. And they're not divulging information. They're not saying, okay, we're going to sell our Grayscale shares now, right? Like, no one knows. So there were periods of time where, yeah, you could have blamed them due to the problems of their parent company and a sister company. So who knows how many billion of shares, billion dollars worth of shares were sold due to their two other companies, right? And they knew this. They had to have known. That's why they made their fees 5 times as high as others. They knew that this was going to happen. They knew that a lot of shares were going to be sold. Regardless, that's the past, I think. Knock on wood, if I had any wood to knock on. I do, a lot of trees, but I'm not going to go there. But we had a positive, okay? We had a positive inflow on Friday. I believe it was like 65 million. And overall, we had a positive 360 million inflow day on Friday. So we broke a streak. I think it was like 4 days or 5 days of net outflow. And now we have net inflow once again. But more importantly, Grayscale had inflow instead of outflow. So that is the new thing I'm looking forward to this week. If that trend continues, and this whole week we see Grayscale not selling and only buying, and the other ETFs start ramping up too, and I'm talking about even the Hong Kong ones. A lot of people thought the opening week was disappointing. Hey, the 4 funds or 3 funds or 4 funds in Hong Kong already have $250 million under management. For a single week, that's not bad. I know we're used to talking about billions, but if they took in $250 million in a week, well, imagine week 2, 3, 4, at the end of 1 year. They will be holding on billions too. So this week, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm really bullish about this week, because obviously we recovered back up to the point I thought we were going to. Remember last week I said there's 2 scenarios. One, we either keep trending down towards 52,000, okay, which I guess that's not out of the picture yet. There's still a chance that could happen, but I think it's much slimmer now since we come back up. 2, I said we recover back up to that 63.7 mark, and we just trend along there for a little bit. And it's looking like it's number 2, right? And I kind of thought so. I didn't believe that dip was a prolonged dip. I really didn't think we were going to go down to 52. But hey, if it happens, it happens. Like I said, it's a good buying opportunity. Whenever Bitcoin dips, good buying opportunity, right? But because we didn't do that, we came back out of 64. I imagine we could just go sideways for a little bit, maybe for a few months. Maybe we got a little upwards movement. Maybe we go up 65, 66. Maybe we go all the way up to $70 again. And maybe we come trend back down. But it's looking like we may be going sideways for a little bit until the market is ready, maybe until the very first rate cut in the US, and that could be coming as soon as next month. But if not next month, maybe September, August, September. But I'm bullish about this week. Let's see what happens. I really think there's a good chance that this week we see Bitcoin go higher towards like 70K, and then maybe we trend back down a little bit. I don't think we're going to hit like 70K and just keep going and go to 80K. I think we may have to wait a month or two until conditions are a little bit better, and then we start going, right? I guess we'll see, but I am really looking forward to Grayscale and seeing whether or not they're going to be buying a whole lot this week, and the other ETFs, of course. Are they going to continue to buy? What's going to happen in Hong Kong? I think that's going to be a big narrative for this week, and I'm looking forward to it because I think it's going to be very positive. All right, so there's that. What else do I want to talk about? I see this thing about, I see a lot of people talking about altcoin dominance and how Bitcoin dominance may have peaked and how it could go down and then it could be altcoin season. I know there's something to it, but I don't put too much weight into it. I don't chart it like others, and here's the reason. We have institutions that are buying Bitcoin, and these institutions could be public trade companies, some of the biggest ones in the world, could be financial institutions like banks, could be fintech companies, could be tech companies in general, could be, I don't know, other funds, right? Like pension funds and retirement funds, endowments, family offices, all these guys. You know, you look at how much they have under management, and we're talking about tens of trillions of dollars. In the world, there's about $100 trillion worth of money, I guess. But you look at some of these entities I just talked about, they have easily $1 trillion under management, or 500 billion under management, or whatever crazy number that they have. Just for them to enter Bitcoin a little bit, like just literally like 5% or 10%, will drive Bitcoin so high we can't even imagine. That's why Kathy Wood is now saying $3.4 million by the end of 2030, and she predicts all these guys, they just have to put 5% of their 5% of their total assets into Bitcoin. That's it. So my point is this: if they have so much money they could put in, Bitcoin dominance could stay high and go higher forever. It's not something you could really chart. You can't really predict that. I know charting is basically you look at history, what has happened, and you're trying to project what may happen in the future. But we can't really predict how much money is flowing in. So that's why I don't put a lot of weight when you're charting Bitcoin dominance. And some people are noting that, oh, you know, it's kind of topped out and it could go down and it's altcoin season. No, we're way, way too early for that. History doesn't repeat, but it tends to rhyme. And altcoin season never, ever starts this early. It always starts towards the end of a cycle. That doesn't mean alts can't go up. Yeah, they could still trend up, but you notice when Bitcoin goes down, almost every single alt goes down and follows the same pattern. like every single alt is following the same pattern, because Bitcoin is still the big daddy. It leads the way. So if billions or trillions are flowing to Bitcoin, the dominance could stay high for a very long time. And if this ends up being a super cycle, well, it's just going to stay elevated maybe forever. But that doesn't mean that alts won't trend up. But if you're like wondering when true altcoin season starts, that's usually a tail end of a cycle. So I don't think true altcoin season will really start until 2025. Maybe it starts a little bit early. Maybe it starts beginning of the year or mid-year, because traditionally speaking, it starts like the very tail end. But this time around may be different. And it could be because the memes are so strong, and they help a lot of retail people make a lot of money. Maybe maybe that's, you know, let's go drive altcoin season here a little bit faster. But again, a lot of you guys are wondering about altcoin season, whether it's here. You know, no. Bitcoin dominance will stay elevated for a long time. And trust me, even those of you guys that don't have Bitcoin and only alts, you want that. You want Bitcoin dominance to be high, because Bitcoin leads the way. If Bitcoin dominance goes down and Bitcoin starts to trend downwards in a big way, it's not going to help the alts. I'll guarantee you that. We have seen that just last week. The alts took a beating when Bitcoin went down. That tells you we're not in altcoin season, nowhere close to it. All right, so that's that. What else do I want to talk about? I don't know. That's pretty much it. A couple other things, I guess, real quick. Number one, if you're playing with leverage, I know it's been really tough, and I've spoken a lot about it, but you got to set your stop losses, guys. So I told you guys I did horrible. I lost a whole bunch of money the month before. This recent time, since the FOMC meeting till now, I started making some of it back because Bitcoin started trending upwards, especially when we were down below to 56, 58. I took advantage, threw some leverage, some low leverage, like 8 to 10x, and I made some of it back. But I set my stop losses really tight. And yesterday I forgot. I had some people over. I had something open, and then I got distracted whole night, you know, just hanging out with others. And boom, you know, Bitcoin had a big dip and then came back up. I got liquidated, right? That sucks. My other ones that set stop losses, okay. You know, you have something left and then you can keep going. But forget, and you get that volatility and you instantly get liquidated, it sucks. So here's my advice. Slow down your leverage. Like I said in the last video, decrease. If you want to go 2 or 3x and go long term and not worry about it, I think that's still a really good play. And I have some of that going. But for everyone else that wants to like try to catch the bottom and ride it up, make sure you set those stop losses no matter what. It doesn't matter if it seems like it's go trend up. Just set that stop loss just in case. And still, I would suggest playing with lower leverage at this point. Lastly, I think I already have my mind made, but I want to get your opinion or you guys' opinion. My Cybertruck delivery is finally ready. I got a notice from Tesla saying that you got to confirm delivery, and then your delivery will be soon, right? I'm sure some of you guys have seen videos from others already about the Foundation Series Cybertruck. Most of the stuff I've been hearing have been bad. You know, there's a new issue where like the accelerator pedal, like the cover comes loose, and then it like, you know, it could get jammed up under a dash or something. That's horrible. You know, fingers getting cut off potentially, not so good. You know, blemishes or rust or whatever it is on the stainless steel body, not so good. Wheel covers like cutting into the tire, so you have to take them off, not so good. You know, so far everything I've been hearing have been bad. But there's no doubt the Cybertruck, I think it looks so unique. It's so eye-catching. You know, there's nothing else out there. I've seen a couple. I saw one on the road the other day. And while I was in Orlando, I saw one in the parking lot. And everyone's pulling up to take pictures. Like, whether you like it or don't like it, it's so unique. It's going to draw a lot of attention. But I'm faced with this reality. It's like no Teslas have held the resale value well. I'm thinking maybe the Cybertruck will, because it's so limited and it's so unique. But I'll tell you, my current Model X Plaid has dropped half in value in 2 years. It really sucks. And the Teslas I had before all dropped. So I'm faced with this dilemma. If I don't take delivery, I lose my $1,000 deposit, non-refundable. Or I could take delivery and take my chances. I don't really have a parking spot for it. I guess I could park it outside. It's a huge freaking truck. And I kind of posted this on X already, and half the people said yes, get it, and half the people says ugly as F. So it's like, it's really split 50-50. So I don't know what to do. Should I take delivery or not, or stall? You guys tell me, I'm curious. So let me know in the comments. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Overall, I think this is going to be a very bullish week for Bitcoin. I don't know what to do about this Tesla delivery. Oh, and give you guys an update on my carnivore in case you're wondering. I really kind of got screwed up with my travels, and now that I've been back for about a week or two, I've been trying to get back on, still cheating a little bit, but we'll get back on hardcore, no more cheating. My knee still feels a whole lot better. My friend who got on carnivore, his knees feel a whole lot better. My brother-in-law has, you know, chronic back aches and stuff. Trying to convince him to see how it is, right? So I do think carnivore does get rid of inflammation for sure. My weight loss, however, has stopped. I lost about maybe 5 to 7 pounds, and it's been stuck since then. I think it could be that, again, just get rid of water weight, inflammation. But as it gets warmer, I will dedicate myself to doing a lot more exercise outside, dropping the weight, go trying to stick with this diet and see how it goes. But I did incorporate veggies and some fruits, like the berry fruits and stuff. So that has made things a whole lot easier. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.